Welcome to Brat City, also known as East Lansing. Kamala Harris is in town. We're here at the rally not just because we wanted to talk to people who are out campaigning for her, but also people who are real superfans, people who believe very, very, very strongly in her message, and see what they're thinking about the most contentious parts of her policy, not just inflation or trans rights or abortion or all the kind of things that are domestic issues, but that key international question about the Gaza genocide.
I mean, this is the last run. You got to support. So we're really, really excited.
She stands up for women's rights. She doesn't denigrate people and insult them. She's there for the people.
I absolutely just love her. She's an absolute role model for me. I'm an educator. I teach 6th grade, so I think she has a lot of respect for educators. I'm here for to preserve my women's rights, and I'm just really excited to be here.
Are you worried about Michigan, as a state?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Fundamentally, I'm worried about maintaining our democracy.
If the orange monkey gets in, I'm going back to England.
You're going back to England.
Nazis are bad.
You heard it here first. We found our first brat hat. It's a brat hat.
Yes, it is. I'd say Kamala's brat.
Is there a consensus? Is Kamala brat?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
What does it mean to be brat?
Brat is a woman that knows herself. She's okay with taking care of herself. She's okay with doing what she wants. She's a strong woman.
Kamala, is she brat?
Is she a brat?
What does being brat mean to you?
I don't know, being cool, being fun.
Have you heard the album? Have you heard it? No. You've not heard it? I gotta tell you, it's mostly about cocaine. Most of the album is about cocaine. Is Kamala pro-cocaine?
No.
Okay. You heard it? Maybe, you said.
Maybe in her younger days. I mean, she grew up in the 60s, right? Or 70s?
Yep.
I'm kidding. Don't edit.
Have you heard the album Brat by Charlie XCX?
Have I heard what?
The album Brat by Charlie XCX.
No, I have not.
Do you know what this sign refers to?
Oh, yeah, of course. I want Kamala Harris for president.
Charlie XCX is right now. Brad is right now.
I think Charlie XCX like 3 months ago. I'm sorry.
How could you say that? You just broke my heart. Women's rights is right now, right?
Right, yeah, women's rights is right now and probably forever.
So that's why Brad is right now, and that's why Kamala's right now.
That's the top of your issue. That's your number one issue, women's rights.
Yeah,
Yeah?
of course.
I'm an acupuncturist. I provide supportive care for women who are undergoing IVF. I also provide supportive care for women who've had miscarriages, who need to recover, get their hormones rebalanced so that they can try again. And I think, if you're pro-life, you have to be pro-woman. You cannot discount these people. They are going through hell to have a baby because they want children and they want to have a family. And what the Republicans are doing, letting women bleed out in parking lots, that's like sending us back to medieval times, and we cannot have that.
Can we talk to you about your incredible jumper? What does it mean to be a childless cat lady against fascism?
Well, I think that the disrespect of being compartmentalized and told that we don't have a stake in the future and we shouldn't vote makes me insane because I pay taxes. So I believe that gives me the right to vote and to be represented.
Do you think that Trump is trying to suppress women's votes?
Absolutely.
How is that happening?
I feel like sort of telling the husbands who are voting for him that maybe they should bully their wives or encourage them to vote for him instead of having their own free decision. That stands out to me. What about you, Kai?
Yeah, I think it's reducing women to just their ability to have children, and I think constantly doing that is elevating men over women, and so I think this shirt sums it up nicely.
Pro-choice. That's it. When Trump did away with Roe versus Wade, and Harris has promised to, if Congress will come through with it, she's going to sign it off. That's it. That's what it's all about for me.
Didn't the Democrats have a majority quite some time ago and a president and a whole bunch of other things they could do in order to put Roe versus Wade in the law and then didn't do it?
Well, because Congress has to approve it. And if Congress is ruled by the Republicans, for whatever reason, we don't know, we don't really understand why there's this huge gap. You know what I mean? I don't really know. But No, I believe she's going to put it through. I just do.
I guess the cynical rationale from the Democrats would be that it was really good for them when Roe versus Wade was overturned because it mobilized people,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and in fact, because the biggest early voting section has been women, and it's all on that.
We cannot have a gentleman who is so wrong for our country to get in. And I mean gentleman in a way. He's got his own club, he has his own organization, and what he's going to do is going to be horrendous. We have to vote for Kamala Harris.
Racism, bigotry, misogyny. He is not going to protect any woman here.
Loads of people don't care about any of those things. Like, loads of people are just quite comfortable with a racist, they're comfortable with a bigot. How do you reach those people?
You don't jump on people to change their mind. You say, so how do you feel about this election? And where do you, and you know, you figure out how to have a conversation that might be uncomfortable, but you have to have it. People don't need to necessarily be like converted, but if you do convert, it takes a little bit, but you don't have to be rude or cocky. We're not rude and cocky people. They are the rude and cocky. And one other thing is, I don't know if you guys have seen the thing in PA, I think it was, Halloween float into the parade with a golf cart and a Trump-looking guy with a machine gun on top of the golf cart and a person that looked like Kamala Harris chained and handcuffed with behind it. So that kind of sealed the deal for the last straw almost of inappropriateness he could do, besides also threatening to kill Liz Cheney.
How do you feel about that Cheney endorsement? Because Dick Cheney, incredibly controversial figure in his day, incredibly controversial. Started the Iraq War, definitely a war criminal. You can say that in America. How do you feel about him? About the Cheney endorsement.
I was not surprised, but nothing shocks me in America anymore. But
you expect to be shocked by Trump. You don't expect to be shocked by Harris.
Right? No, never.
But you were.
But I was I was a little bit. Every time we get an endorsement that's, we get prominent Republicans or prominent independents, I always make a big deal out of it at home. I go, we got a Bush, or we got a Cheney, and it's excitement in terms of that Harris is building the biggest coalition, like she has said. She's building the biggest coalition of bipartisanship in a presidential campaign. There's probably Republicans in this line.
One of the most contentious issues has, of course, been the war in the Middle East. How do you see that?
Well, we need a peacemaker. We definitely do not need an anti-angst to get everybody riled up against the Israelis, the Hamas, all of the different factions. We have so many Jewish people that are so important to our country. They are as well Palestinians in Detroit. We need to support all people, and Kamala does that.
I feel like there's one really contentious issue in this election for the Democrat Party, which is Gaza, right? Like, that is the thing people have been talking to us about. That's the thing people have been, worrying about, really making them waver when they're going to put their cross in that Harris box. How do you guys feel about that? How are you guys thinking about that?
It is a very complicated topic. I do think that there needs to be more support for those in Gaza and what's going on in Gaza, and recognizing that it's horrible. There's several millions and thousands of people dying in Gaza every day. And although there does need to be support, at least there's been a ceasefire from Kamala Harris. Donald Trump, all he said is that he wants to turn it into a parking lot. So I think that also needs to be recognized that we do have a candidate who is trying to call for a ceasefire.
I guess it's been going on under her watch in some sense, though, right? So, can she call for a ceasefire now, even though it's been happening while she's been vice president?
The thing is that I don't mean to crap on the position, but like the VP doesn't really make the calls, it's the president. So although she is the vice president, although she does have that power, she really can't do much. It's Biden who can actually do things.
We were in Detroit yesterday and we were in Dearborn. So we were talking to lots of Arab Americans who are very concerned about Harris's foreign policy, right? Concerned about the Middle East and so on. Has that been cutting through to people you've been talking to?
I think really people are just wanting a better option. And I think they feel like they have, all sides have a little more hope with Harris-Walz. Definitely there's things that could be improved, especially with what's going on in the various communities, especially within the Palestinian and the Middle Eastern community. But I think our best chance as a country of coming together and just really making some changes over there that benefit all communities, Harris-Walz is definitely the way to go.
The Democrats had to be persuaded to back civil rights, right, by people who were inside the Democrat Party, who pushed them to back civil rights. Do you think it's possible there might be a sort of a similar kind of move? We might get a sort of a Michigan Democrat who pushes the Democrat Party from the inside to engage more seriously with the question of Palestinian rights?
I think everything is open to conversation. And we need to be able to be in an environment where we can have those kind of conversations and different perspectives coming to the table. So we're hoping that, I think, as a country, no matter what, by putting country over party, I think we're hoping that we can turn the page so that we can have those kind of conversations.
And country over party means Democrat Party?
It means inviting everyone to the table, and that's what Harris-Walz is talking about.
We will win.
Ours is about a fight for democracy and your right to be heard. Everybody has a right to be heard, but right now I am speaking.
So we've put this question of the Gaza genocide to people here. And what we've had is just a kind of a vague, I don't know, like people dissolve into incoherence and platitudes when they've been extremely articulate and clear on other issues, right? It just doesn't seem to be kind of a part of the landscape. And of course, one thing that might be happening is that it's 2 or 3 days to go until the election. People are just in the we just have to win mode. They've come to a rally. And in some ways, people seem to be here thinking of themselves not as independent voters with their own kinds of opinions, but just as sort of mini Kamala surrogates, right? Who are articulating the same kind of vague spiel that she might give if pushed in a 60 minutes interview, right? And that's instead of the articulate and deeply agonized position we've heard consistently from Arab Americans in Dearborn.
I don't take either side. I'm completely agnostic. I was just pointing out that you have a nice capitalist business where you can make a profit, and I'm sure people at the other side of the rallies are doing the exact same thing. So I'm not fighting with you. I'm not.
I get some stupid shit from Trump supporters. Oh, so you're a capitalist. You're, how come you're not a socialist? How come you're not a communist if you're for Kamala? Stupid stuff.
But I didn't.
So I was anticipating that.
No, I didn't attack you. I told him I was agnostic, but he obviously didn't like it. So anyway, enjoy your day.
I can't help but notice that you're at a Kamala, well, you're coming past the Kamala rally, but you got some Trump hats on. Talk to us about that. What's the vibe around here? Like, what's in this local area?
We were at a soccer game just now, but
we got yelled at by a few ladies, but it's okay.
Heckled, but it was funny. It was funny.
What do they say to you?
They asked if our girlfriends were proud of us.
What do you like about Trump?
I like that. I like that he doesn't hold back and that he's not a filtered politician. You know, he's speaking for everybody.
You feel like Kamala is filtered?
Oh, she follows a script. She can't not read a teleprompter. That's her whole.
I agree.
I agree. Her whole skit. So
I guess what they would say is that Trump can't even read a teleprompter. Can he read?
I think he likes to not read a teleprompter.
Right. He's got his own vibe, right? He's got his own sort of weave.
Listen. Anybody that goes through all the campaigning that he does for months and months on end, I mean, he's 80 years old. I mean, give him a break.
Yeah, he's an entertainer. He doesn't really like to follow a script.
Yeah. Do you want to elect an entertainer or a president?
Ooh. So that's actually a really good question, but there's only 2 choices, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But
I've talked to people who I assume will be Trump guys, and you're saying, well, Trump's okay, but like I'd really prefer someone else. It feels like everyone wants someone else. This is not a good position for American democracy to be in.
You're right.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate reality of America is that it just kind of the extreme candidate gets chosen, and the moderates and the people kind of get shoved out. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Okay, so we're trying to get to the back of the queue. That's pretty much it. This is a really long queue. I've had to take off my coat because we have to big jog for a bit. People are, apart from the question of abortion rights and abortion access, people are really quite vague about why they're here, but they are definitely here. How does it feel to be at the back of the line?
It was a long way. It's
a
long walk.
So we got to the very back of the line. It's still filling up. It's probably about like a mile long down to the stadium. It's going to be full, I'm pretty sure, by the time that people get to the end. And what have we learned about like the Harris supporters? Well, there's a lot of anti-Trump. And the kind of things that people do say in favor of Harris are very much the Democrats' talking points. Some really important things like abortion access, like women's reproductive rights and so on. And then just no talk of inflation, very little talk of anything else that you might think of as a typical Republican talking point. And it feels like we've not just got a division on terms of issues, but even a division on terms of the things that are worth talking about in this election. No one, of course, has talked to us unprompted about the genocide in Gaza. And when we have brought that up, we've got platitudes. Really nothing more than that. We did bump into people who had Trump hats on. They were coming from a soccer game, a football game, from across the road. And even they said they weren't even that keen on Trump. They would prefer a more sort of normal conservative, but they weren't entirely enthused about him. They suggested the political system was broken, right? That it was splitting into these two extreme camps. Now, whether or not Kamala is extremist, I think is very much up for debate. But that's the kind of feeling that we're getting on the ground. Mostly a negative campaign from both sides. Tomorrow we're going to Pittsburgh to a Trump rally, which is in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. And while we're there, we're kind of wondering if we're going to get a reverse picture of this, the same narrow talking points, or whether or not Trump's extraordinarily loquacious style of speaking will mean that there is much more shit that is stuck on the wall.